Are witches born or made? What does it mean to love something so much that you want to study it, but you can't? What does it mean to be different from the others around you? Or are you exactly just the same and you can't see it? What does forbidden mean? And why is darkness so alluring? And especially when it can help you achieve greater goods that the usual does not allow you. What does it feel like to be close to someone, to dream, to want to do better, to want to help, and not being able to do it fully? And especially, what does it mean to have magic? Hello, beautiful bookworms! My name is Katarina and welcome to my channel, and today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite manga series. This series is not yet concluded, however, I have read all of the, up until now, 9 volumes available, and I just had to share it with you. If some of you guys don't know this, please, I beg you, pick this manga series up. The spooky season is starting, and so it's a great beauty to read about the forces of light and darkness and also about magic and witches. So the manga series that I'm telling you about in this video is called Witch Hat Atelier. This is volume 1, and this is by Kamome Shirahama. So the author of Witch Hat Atelier, actually the series in itself, won the Eisner Award at the time that it was nominated. And if you know anything about those, you will know that those are kind of like the Oscars of comics and manga. So if that doesn't tell you that you should give this a shot, I don't know what else will. Witch Hat Atelier is filled with beauty, light, but also darkness and ugliness and dangers and fascinating things that I think will be enticing. It is not a horror story, it's a fantasy with a little bit of darkness into it. But what is light without its counterpart? And why would we want to read something that doesn't have its issues and its dangers and its adventures? And this is what Witch Hat Atelier poses. In this book review or manga review, I will be taking you in a short ride, since I don't want to spoil anything, for the world of Witch Hat Atelier, the art style, and what I thought about it, and why I do believe that you guys should pick this up and read it. Witch Hat Atelier is a story, for now, told in 9 volumes of manga series. It is still ongoing, and we are supposed to expect the 10th volume very soon. The first thing that I wanted to tell you about the Witch Hat Atelier is that not only the covers, but the entirety of the story and the drawings and the art style of it are crazy beautiful. This is a story that pens a lot of visual and that lives through the fantastic and beautiful magician style things that you see throughout the entirety of the manga series. After all, how can one fall in love with magic if one just doesn't get told the magic beauty that is in the world? It's the story of this little girl. She's called Coco, and she has a dream. She wants to become a witch, but she knows that witches are only born and never made or taught. And so she just holds on to hope that one day she might see a witch or try and be a witch, but she doesn't really know how, since supposedly she can't. But one day, everything changes. When there's an accident with a magical carriage, she actually notices that there's a witch in the premise where she works in her mother's shop of seamstresses. She helps her mother, she loves her mother, but she can't wait to get away and to see the world and all of its fascinating things. And now is the right chance to see what is going on, because the witch is going to make a spell and turn the carriage as it should be. However, This witch tells her, "You cannot watch me make the spell." But she does, because Coco is a very small and very intrigued young woman, and she decides, why can't I see? And then she sees that to cast magic, the only thing that you need to do is to draw. And so she picks up a very old book that she supposedly bought from an old witch a very long time ago, and she starts trying to draw the spells that are there. Little does she know that that book is not a friend of hers, and so she sends up a spell that makes the most terrible thing happen. Now, I'm not going to tell you what it was, but it had to do with her family, and she's saved by that very same witch that appeared early on in the seamstress shop. As Coco is clearly distraught of everything that happened, the witch that saves her, Quifrey, tells her, okay, so now you're gonna be a witch because you know how it's done, you know what happens. We don't take outsiders, but I'm going to take you so we can have the opportunity of finding out who wrote that book, how you cast that spell, and how we can reverse it. And have some clues of the big baddies that are all around. So, together with Coco in this journey, we discover that there is a sort of magic that is supposed to be forbidden. Because centuries ago and times ago, the kings and the humans always had witches doing their bidding. They were always at war with each other, and horrible things were done in war. And so, because of that, the topmost witches band together. Some of them died, and tried to stop all of this from happening. So the knowledge of how to be a witch and how to cast and how to draw spells is only used and proliferated, let's just say, from a bunch of specific families that had to do with the families of those that stopped these wars and all of the people that they choose to teach in this society of witches. So you're actually born into it because no outsider can know what is going on. And here we already have a new found kind of character development for Coco because she's an outsider, but she's going to be able to learn magic. And of course, this is very political and very socially important, and so we see a lot of witches kind of having strange reactions to her. Also, we don't know exactly what Quifrey, her master, or her teacher in this case, wants with her and the knowledge that she might bring. And so she learns that magic that directly affects the body, magic that changes and hurts and other unpleasantries, is called forbidden magic. So you can't draw on yourself and you can't alter things on yourself or in others because that will be forbidden. And the witches normally use this sort of cone-like shaped cap, and that's her mark, the mark of the witches, their mark. And the witches that use brimmed caps are the ones that do forbidden magic, and they're supposed to be gone for a long, long time. However, someone gave that book to Coco, and that person is not a good witch. So hence begin a journey where not only Coco has to adapt to something that she never thought she was going to do, but she really wanted to, where she finds the magic of everything that she thought wouldn't be possible to her. She sees new adventures, she's able to cast, she's able to learn, but also she has to deal with the fact that something happened to her family, something that she made and that she has to undo. But undoing it might mean fulfilling black, forbidden magic, and that's not what she wants. And the brim caps are after her. We don't know why, but there's a plan, and she is in the center of everything. So you can already see that she's going to be a character dealing with a lot of emotion. And that's exactly what Witch Hat Atelier presents to you. Not only the beauty and the magic, but also the ugly parts of it, the good, the bad, but also the gray, because not everything is as it is supposed to be perceived as. And that's one of the things that I love in Witch Hat Atelier. Another thing that I love is the mere imagination of the world building, how everything was exactly constructed to be a high fantasy world, a world where you wish you could live, a world where you wish you could read an entire book just about how it was built. It's beautiful, incredible, it's so well constructed. Every little detail, political, societal, world building ish, like in a map, is thought out and has a reason to be what it is. And you also have a lot of cute creatures that inhabit these worlds. And I mean, let's face it, that's bonus points for everyone that's reading it. So, together with all of the apprentices of the Witch Hat Atelier, Coco now has to do her journey and figure out how she can reverse what she did, but also why this type of magic is forbidden when it can help a lot of people. Because if you think about it, interfering with the body means that you cannot help someone if they broke a leg. You cannot make them walk again. You cannot help someone if they're sick only with ointments. You cannot do beautiful things that could help people. You cannot help someone that was wrongly transformed into something, because doing it backwards might be forbidden magic. There's a lot of things that you can't do to yourself and others that would be good in times of war, but in times of peace might be thought out as not wanting to help, which is not the case for Coco. She loves magic and all of her friends and all of the world, and what she wants is just to bring happiness. She embodies the fact that a witch's service should be to the others, to the ones that ask and need help. And that's all she wants to do. Help everyone, and also find the amazing thing that it's magic and how it can help her family. The beautiful thing in here is that we have a lot of characters with a lot of different motivations, and we have a lot of backstories that are just told in tiny little bits, so that it's not enough, but that you get something that makes you understand and care for those characters. We have developments going throughout the entirety of the 9 books, and you have all of the things that make you want to know them, even the ones that appear little in page, have a little time. A beautiful thing that you also have is in reference to trigger warnings. Before giving you my final thoughts on the Witch Hat Atelier and obviously telling you why I'm definitely recommending it, and I gave 5 stars to all of them and I really wanted you to read them, I just have to say that I love the way that it talked about themes as disability and difference of perspective between characters and regarding their circumstances and what they had or didn't have or thought they didn't have. And also the approach that it has to, will I lose myself if I follow others, or will I be able to put something original in it? And also how we can be thankful for many, many different things. Also how our family normally is our family, but family can be the people that we want to be, and we can build a found family and other things like that. I think that many themes of Witch Hat Atelier are important nowadays and are also important to everyone that is going to choose to pick this one up and read it, because it's part of all of the magic. The magic is in ourselves, and it's in our beauty and in the way that we act with one another. It's not in the terrible things that people think or do sometimes, but how we make things better than they once were and how we better ourselves for doing it. Of course, when you're discussing something as grayish, let's just say, as light and dark and what could be good but badly applied, you will have trigger warnings for things. And what I think it's incredibly important is that Kamome Shirahama did the work of, when something was extremely uncomfortable, it was mentioned in the book. And I've never seen this in a manga. Obviously, I've read a lot of strange manga, and this one is strange, but it's supposed to be a beautiful fantasy, even though tainted with dark themes, and not a place where you go to suffer. And so I was very, very happy to see that in one of the latest installments, I'm not going to tell you where, it has a content warning before the beginning of the chapter so that you know what you're getting yourself into. And it states this following chapter includes discussion of sexual abuse and victim blaming. Readers likely to find such subject matter triggering should proceed with caution. Alternatively, this chapter may be skipped entirely. Doing so will not interfere with understanding of the main plot, which resumes from page 121. I actually think it was an important chapter because it talked about one of the secondary characters and it made you understand more of their points of view and why they did the things that they did and how the system in this beautiful fantasy world is actually very similar to ours, where there's people that are racists, people that abuse others, people that have something that makes the beauty of magic being grim and not that great. And I think that that's important because many of the times we can lose ourselves in the beauty of a tale and not understanding that that tale is actually alluding to more real things that you should think about. Not only there is this implied sexual abuse and victim blaming, there's also another discussion, a very important one, about everything regarding society. So there's a lot of points like who you want to be and you are forced to be. There's a lot of things about the ones that are higher up and the ones that pay you are the ones that you have to obey, no questions asked. There's also a lot of fighting between why is this wrong and this right? Why are there these rules that are good for some of the things, but just make you forget other things that will be helpful as well? Why is the society the way that it is? And who gave the power to those that form the rules to be the way that it is? And I think that the political and societal part of the Witch Hat Atelier is as important, if not, I will not say more because of course it's not more important than the journey that our main character is doing, but is as important as it and is as equally delightful as the entirety of this journey. So these are my thoughts about the Witch Hat Atelier. I absolutely love this series and I cannot wait for it to continue coming out, and I do think that you should pick this up if you like high fantasy, if you like witches and magic, and if you like a little bit of darkness, spookiness, and very serious themes being discussed in your mangas. If you've never read a manga, this is a very enchanting opportunity to pick this one up, since yes, now it has currently 9 volumes and we know there's going to be a 10th and probably more, so it's not going to be a short series, but I think it's going to be an important one. It not only won a prize that pushes it away from other series of other creators, but also discuss, as I've told you, important themes and also has a lot to do with our questions today in society, or at least that's what I feel because I like to question every single thing. Hopefully when I do finish the series, whenever that's going to be, I can tell you if it got better or not, but for now all of these are 5 stars for me. Very impacted by the art style, of course, but also by the story, the world building, the characters. I don't think anything is amiss in these mangas. I think everything is exactly as perfect as it should be for a beautiful, well thought out, magical story. So that's going to be all for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like it, leave a like or subscribe. I decided to start doing these different types of book reviews and manga reviews, so hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and that's going to be all for today. So happy readings to you all. Bye!